Welcome, everyone, to Off Topic with Sue and Coda. So, we're going to talk about masking. What is masking? Masking is when you try to act normal
Well, it's well. That's why
when
they
you really
call it.
aren't.
That's why they call it masking. Is because you put on a mask.
I, I think everybody wears a mask to some point or
Yeah,
degree,
but I
don't
think
you?
it's like
I mean, how do you think serial killers become serial killers? They put
I
on
think.
a. Okay.
Well, I think the reason it's only like a neurodivergent thing is because technically neurotypical people can just go out and they're already normal. Um,
Well, I mean, I guess we could have defined
normal. I
normal.
well, I say normal loosely, but
Okay, so I would say for masking, uh, basically it's done to fit in, to try to appear that you understand the
did we
social.
swap sides? Like, am I usually sitting over there? I don't. Sorry, my
I,
brain feels
I don't
like
know.
something is wrong, and I don't know what it is.
You always sit over there, but I think it's like looking in the mirror. You
No,
always
that's fair.
different.
I don't know. Ignore me.
Okay, let's get back to the topic. So, masking is presenting yourself in a way that you feel is socially acceptable. Um, so, a lot of people with ADHD or autism um, wiggle a lot. That's distracting.
It's
Um,
distracting
I,
for normal
I,
people.
being too talkative, so I've been told I'm too talkative. I'm
I've been
too
told I'm
loud,
bossy and loud.
bossy, loud. Opinionated, yeah, those kind of things. So you
Or I get told so usually when I'm not masking, I get told I'm bossy or really loud or annoying or talkative. But then when I am masking, a lot of times people are like, "You're so quiet.
what's wrong with
You
you?
never talk to anybody."
Yeah.
Maybe it's just because I'm not comfortable around you.
Exactly. And
Maybe
so
it's because I don't like you. Go away.
that's why
Cause
as a parent you'll find that your kids are hell when they're around you, but they are completely different. So like this one, I'd go to school like conferences. They're so sweet. They hardly say anything. They do
it's
their
because I was
work
scared
and
of
da da da
authority
da
figures
da
and
blah 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 blah. And I'm like,
see, I've
you obviously have
always
not met my child, but they haven't because that was the
yeah.
masked child.
But now it's really weird. I will say it's really weird going to school, going to college with a teacher that I don't feel I have to mask around as much. So I come home and I'm like, I'm still drained because when I'm talking to people and stuff like that, I'm still very conscious and like making specific decisions of things I wouldn't usually say or wouldn't usually do. But I feel like I'm a lot more hyper at school now and more talkative at school now with a teacher that I don't feel I need to mask around. Like I feel very okay to be neurodivergent, I guess, and be like, I have questions for this and this and this. Can you be more specific because I want to make sure I'm understanding this? Or I'm talking and I get excited about something and they participate in the conversation instead of being like, shut up. Um,
Yeah,
but
or
it and it's like today I had a lot of people being like, I see you're like you're feeling better. Like you're starting to feel better because I can tell because when I was going to school these past couple days I've been very
yeah.
more drained, but now today I was pretty
I,
into
I
it.
think it's describing it as if you're going into a social. So say you are not used to going to like a black tie event, and you go there and you're very uncomfortable because you don't know all the rules and you don't want to make a mistake and you don't want to call attention to yourself And so you're kind of trying to like figure
Imagine,
out the
imagine,
situation without like getting asking for help or anything. So,
imagine you go to a library and you've never been to a library before, and you don't know that you're supposed to be quiet, so you're talking a lot and you're being
oh,
really
that's a good
loud,
image. Yeah.
and then suddenly people are like, well, like, oh my god, this person's acting so weird, what the heck? And then someone comes up to you and is like, hey, this is how you act in a library. And then you're like, this is how I act in a library. And you start acting that way instead because that's how everybody else is and that's how you're expected to act.
Yes.
But
And
that's
so
not how
you
you'd actually
as
act.
you and the thing with masking for neurodivergent people is it usually comes from repeated uh, negative reaction to what you're doing or so
Yeah, there's
if
some
you're
people who
always
go
loud in the
there.
library and you're constantly being told shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, you're being too loud, you're being this and this, you start to take that away. So you shrink, you hide behind this mask, and you're not your true self because people have been constantly telling you, um, like I say to myself all the time, like I'm annoying, I'm obnoxious, or whatever, because I was
Mm-hmm.
told that all the time. You're too talkative, you're too loud, you're too this. Uh, can you shut up? Can you tone it down? Can you do that? So when you start receiving all of these negative things, which you at the time think is a personality flaw, you start to dim down your light. You start to
Mm-hmm.
push down that personality, and you don't really show how you really are when you feel comfortable in a situation or around people. So like you don't mask in front of your teacher, but your other teacher, you're not
Oh my
there.
god, I don't say anything
Yeah.
in that class. Like, in my class with my teacher I'm really comfortable with, I don't have any problem interrupting and being like, I think this, or I think this, or like talking out, because we don't really do, in college, you don't really do raising hands, you just kind of say it. Um, but in my other class, I feel so uncomfortable that I'm just like, I'm gonna sit here, and anytime I say anything, if I get even slightly interrupted, I'm going to stop speaking, and then I will not speak for the next hour. Cause then, cause what?
Yeah. And when you're in when you're in a place where you're comfortable and you can be who you wanna, who you really are, um, it's less draining. So it it's mentally exhausting to mask because you have to be constantly thinking. It's the same as being a neurodivergent person, and people don't understand why a task can be so exhausting
Mm-hmm.
when they think I have to get up and get ready for work, and that's a task, or to get up and get ready for work.
Yeah.
Whereas um, getting up is a major task, and then doing all of the steps that are involved in order to get ready and get out the door is exhausted because it's not a habit. It's while there's some parts of it that are a little bit of a habit, it's never, I want to say like automatic, I guess.
Trying to make sure we're not getting messages that we can't see.
Um, so I guess that's, so you're always thinking about this task, like going to take a shower. I'm like, okay, I got to shower, I got to
I
shower, I
hate
got to shower, I got to
showering.
shower.
I
Okay,
hate it
all
so
right, let's go.
much.
Let's get in the shower. Okay, you get all right, and then I'm thinking about all the things. Okay, I got to get in. I got to do this. I got to dry myself. I got to no, 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 no.
I
And
think
I'm exhausted before I even get in there because I've had to think through all of the things that I'm gonna have to do in order to just shower, which is one
well,
task
that's
for
why
most
I
people.
have certain, and this is probably where I really test the people who are like, oh, like autism. Blah, blah, blah. I kind of really test them when I say, like, this is where they start realizing, like, oh, autism actually affects everything. Because I'll be like, oh, some days when I shower, I just wash my hair and nothing else. And they're like, that's gross and blah, blah, blah. No, because like there's some days where I'll like get in the shower and I'll just wash my body and just not wash my hair. And they're like, "Well, why wouldn't you just do it since you're already in the shower?" Cuz that's a whole extra step. That's more exhausting
And
to
then if you have
do.
ADHD, then you forget that you're in the shower. And like my my whatever, my youngest.
Yes, there is. I think showering
Right,
is
there's
too.
too many steps. Like you need a checklist in the shower of all
So,
the things. And then how many times have I like washed my hair with something, or like I'm going to do steps and I will put um, my hair gel on my face because I'm just like trying to do all these steps, and then so the
see,
ADHD and the well,
I
I
think
I don't have autism, do
I think my autism actually helps me with my shower routine.
And why can't you do it?
Cause like I don't forget steps specifically. I know there's a bunch of steps, but like I know a lot of people with ADHD do forget, or they like wash their hair and then they wash their body and they're like, oh, I need to wash my hair, and then they wash their hair again. I don't do that.
Yeah,
I
I've
I
done
like
that.
I think I've done it enough that I like kind of know, but now I know, like how an actual shower routine is, and then I'm like, man, this is exhausting and I don't want to
Yeah, and
do it.
then your sibling gets a 4 hour shower because they just sit in there and they zone out and they get lost and they forget that they're supposed to end the shower.
See, I don't
But
get that.
yes,
I hate being in the shower so much that every second I spend in there, I'm like, man, I want to get out. Man, I really want to get out. And
yeah,
there's
the sensory
sometimes
part of
where
it.
it's not even like, it's kind of the sensory part of it. And then it's also kind of, I just feel like I'm going to get murdered every time I take a shower. Like, I don't know what that is. Haven't figured that out. Don't care
Is
to.
that why when you use my shower, you like shut every single door?
Yes, because I because I convinced myself people are gonna come out and like kill me. So I like when I shower, I'm like so like, oh my gosh, what is my escape plan if someone were to come in here right now and
There's
try
no
to kill
escape
me?
plan if you're in the shower.
I know, and that's why it's horrible. So like
Okay,
I
this
just
is
I
weird.
just have time, but then also getting in the shower. Okay, we are now not even talking
talking
about
about.
masking anymore, but getting in the shower is a whole process and I hate it. Hi, Emily.
You caught us when
You
we're
ca-
not even talking about what we're supposed to be
I
talking.
had to get a timer for my 17-year-old. He likes to shower at 6:30 a.m. since middle school. It helps him wake up now. Yeah, see,
Yes, yes. Like
I don't know how
I
to.
swear, my 17-year-old is this. I'm like, are you? Did you die? Like, do you know water costs money? What is happening?
Give me some water.
But
I
so
see.
my husband has to take a shower in the morning, and I'm just like, what's I took a shower at what 4 today
Okay, look.
because somebody
For the
made me get up
longest,
really early and leave the
for the
house.
longest time, I'm trying really hard. I am trying so hard.
Why you have your
Um,
own drink?
yes, but it's not water. um, I'm trying to.
I don't know. Should I change this to not about masking and talk about shower?
This is what happens when we don't have notes. This
That's my fault.
is what
I
happens when we don't have notes.
You always yell at me when I have notes.
I
Okay,
don't yell
so
at
we're
you when
talking
you
about
have notes.
we're talking about masking and
His
eating
ADHD
and high functioning.
and he plays with the products and gets okay. See, I get distracted. I don't play with them anymore. But now what I do is like when I'm washing my hair, I have so much anxiety that like it makes showering worse. But I'll be like, man, a lot of my hair is falling out. I should like stick it to
Oh.
the shower wall and and see how much is falling out. That way I can know if it's like a concerning amount or not. Yeah, sorry. I need to
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Okay, let's talk about masking. Masking. Okay.
Okay,
So
I don't even know what to talk about now because we don't have notes. I'm
Okay.
sorry. This is why it's called off topic. This happens,
Yes. Okay. So
guys.
masking, we were talking about, is extremely exhausting, and nerd. Not like I said, a lot of people mask because I don't think you ever really use. What am I? Am I triggering you?
I don't know
Oh,
what's happening.
okay. So a lot of people mask. I mean, we always don't show our true selves, but for neurodivergent people, um, especially if you've been constantly told when you, as you are growing up, of all the things that you're doing wrong, or all the things that
Yeah,
your behavior is not right in this situation,
I think
you slowly start to mask.
that's why masking is
Let's see
like
if I do that.
different for everybody because it's built up of things that specifically people have nitpicked about you. And usually, the reason why people's masking is similar is because most neurotypical people who like nitpick the same things that is like a common trait. So like a lot of the time it's like, oh, like stimming, masking, usually you don't stim because people are like, stop doing that, blah blah blah. So like bouncing your leg or like doing anything, but what they don't realize is that neurotypical people stim too. It's not just a neurodivergent thing, it's just ours are more out there, I guess.
Can you read this? Here's the, here we got some notes.
We got notes. Hopefully, we'll be on track.
Okay,
Sorry,
it's a
gang.
coping mechanism. So you try to hide your ADHD or your autism in public, so that um, you know, camouflaging how bad your symptoms are, or how much it impairs your functioning. So because because ADHD is invisible, and so people, when you're acting a certain way, people take it as your personality. Like, I grew up thinking that I had a personality flaw for a long, long time. Like, that I was lazy, that I can't do this, I can't do that. What does Emily say? I can't read it.
Uh, I felt Merrick Zane's brother masked possibly today because he was at school, and then boom, attitude tears. Why does it keep doing that?
I don't know. You can close that. So yes, so kids mask at school so they don't get in trouble, and then they come home and you get a different person because you're safe, and they are able to let the mask down. And it's so exhausting to keep this mask up that when they come home, they either, this one would come off the bus crying.
But
Um,
to be fair, I wasn't really good at masking at school at that point because I would just cry at school and then cry at home.
yeah,
But usually, but then it got like that was at the start, and then I started being like, well, people make fun of me because I cry, so I stopped crying. And then the second I got off the bus, I was just like,
they'd come off the bus and I'd be like, oh man, bad day. Um, so yeah, so you do it to avoid the stigma or the shame or whatever that comes along with having
especially
ADHD or having autism, because
especially because schools seem to be really big into public humiliation tactics, and for some reason thinks it's really funny to make fun of neurodivergent people. Um, like it's just
yeah, and you do it also because then you're the weird kid or whatever, and you get picked on and you get bullied. You get, so they, showing these things that don't fit into the norm that everybody thinks, um, all those middle of the road kids that can go to school and do their work and, you know, not get overwhelmed and not uh, make weird noises or, whatever. Uh, it's really exhausting to keep that up, and
yeah.
it's a shield. It's a it's a protection. So, um, trying to do things, like if you notice that you're fidgeting, trying to like not fidget,
I'm just
or
sitting here making like faces because I can't not fidget.
well, I'm having
So
a hard time just not
if y'all see
looking at
me
myself. talking. I'm my own distraction
If
here.
you'll see me making weird faces, it's just cuz I
Um,
just do that. I don't
and
know.
then this is also, I believe, one of the reasons that girls and women don't get diagnosed.
Girls and women.
Well, younger girls.
Sometimes I wish he would mask. He comes across as rude, possibly nasty. He will say exactly what he thinks when he thinks it. Today he told a family member that he didn't like them and that all of the people I could have invited, why did it have to be them? He's not a nasty kid, but he can't. See, I get that.
See, he's being honest, and he doesn't have. But in society, it's known as a filter, right? So
Yeah,
you're not supposed to be honest because people, even though they say they want honesty,
they don't.
don't really want it.
Which is
They
like,
want the
and honestly,
what, I don't even know what word I'm
I
looking for.
blame him. I don't blame him. Sorry, I meant to say I don't blame him, and I was gonna say, but people blame neurodivergent people for misunderstanding when people are like, "I'm please be honest with me," and then you're honest with them and they get mad at you. They don't want you to be honest. They just want you to tell them a little sweet lie to make them feel better. And like that's one of the biggest pet peeves I have with how people treat neurodivergent people where they're like things you're doing are rude, you're being mean. No, I that's just how I am. But that doesn't mean I'm a bad person. You just got to tell me like, "Hey, here is a situation.
Yeah.
We can learn from this. Here's a situation where it's okay to be honest and it's not mean. And here's how in a situation like this you can phrase this better so you're not being mean." Like it's kind of like a learning thing.
No, definitely. You have to definitely teach neurodivergent kids the nuance of being eloquent and being, because even when you're little, don't lie, don't lie, don't tell lies, don't tell lies. And we're constantly saying, be honest. But, we lie. We have all these white lies. And being able to, for a kid that possibly is, a black and white thinker, that doesn't make any sense. You tell me not to lie. I said the truth, and now you're telling me that I'm being rude because I was honest. So how does that work? So it's a lot like, we're gonna bring it back to my youngest, right? They would just be. We had to practice. A friend come over, open the door. Hey, you want to play? No. Shut the door.
Or
Or
my the thing that got on my nerves is like I don't know, I think I just have like a different I was a very extroverted person, so I was always working on my social skills. They were not. They were very introverted
yeah,
and not very much working on their people skills. So like I was constantly like I like being nice to people. I like blah 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 and I would be accidentally mean, but in my brain I'm like being really nice to people. But they're they'll open the door and go, "What?" Cuz like they want to know what you
yeah.
want, but they also don't have the control of their tone, and also they don't know that you're supposed to be like, "Hey, what's going on?"
So they hate, and so the reason that they have such a hard time with the social thing is because they think small talk is boring and they don't want to deal with it. And I should be able to just, like, if we're gonna have a conversation, let's have this real stimulating conversation.
Yeah.
Like, we just spent 45 minutes listening to them tell us what happened in a book, um, because they don't want to. What,
So,
Karen's
okay,
friend does
wait,
that and
wait.
he
We
says no and
gotta
walks
go
away.
back because we missed
Okay,
some
sorry.
message. So, yesterday Zane was talking and he had trouble with his words. His stutter came, and Merrick said, "Please slow down."
Yeah.
I also have a stutter, and I wish people would do that because I'll stutter. And, like, it's not just like oh, I'm tripping over my words. I just have, like, a, like, stutter where I'll get stuck on words or I'll, like, repeat words or I'll, like, do stuff like it's weird. I don't know how to describe it. But and like it's because my brain, first of all, there's anxiety on top of it, but it's because my words are like already finishing the sentence
I have words
before
come out of my mouth
I
before I even knew
talk,
I say them
and I'm like,
or
oh
what I'm
my gosh,
saying.
and I'll like get stuck. But instead of like being nice, being like reset, like whatever, there's people who are just like mock me, and it's very, and like there's my close friends are allowed to like poke fun at it. I don't care. But
Yeah.
sometimes I wish people would just be like, hold on, take a minute, try again.
Yeah. Yeah. Reset. We have the reset button. But
um,
yes, so this is the hardest thing too, because we don't want our kids to mask, but we also need them to have some kind of social awareness and social
I like to think that
acceptance. And so, like, that's the hardest thing, especially with a kid that has ADHD and autism, because, like, with my youngest, trying to explain this, and they were like, I'm like, it's just, it's part of life, and you're going out in a world where it's going to have to be done, and it sucks, but you also have to be able to, like, I was so impressed. Did you see them small talking the other day at the cookout? And they were
yes,
really searching to ask questions and to engage with this other kid,
they
to
were
get them to
trying,
talk.
and usually they're really good at like having a conversation with an adult. Like they'll have like a like they were having a great conversation with these kids' dads, and
Yeah,
then
he was like,
and then
"Let's
he's like,
go."
let's talk to my child,
So
and but they're a
he's got a
lot,
like a 10-year-old and a 7-year-old,
but they're a
and here,
lot younger, and usually they don't do that great with like younger kids because they're just like, this is like I can't have a conversation that I want to have. But they were like, but the kids are really like closed off.
well,
So
one of them is
one of them
autistic
is like,
anyways too. So
yeah. So they were like, so we both like this game. What's your favorite character? Like
yeah.
stuff like that. They were
Which
trying
character do
really hard.
what's your favorite defense mechanism or whatever? So it, like, I was so proud, but I saw the how, because they were like, okay, oh, like they were trying to think, and
But
so
also,
this is
they
the
don't.
thing.
I feel like they don't have to mask as often as I do in a way. Like they go
That's
out.
because they don't leave
They
the
don't.
room.
Right? Like they don't do stuff as often like out in the world, so they don't have to mask as often. So I can see that they're like the masking is like a struggle where they're like, okay, how do I navigate this conversation with someone I don't really know?
So that's, yeah, because you learned and picked up on it quick,
But that's also
but
because I made it through school further than they did,
right. So
and I went
they
back.
only got to kindergarten, and then we started homeschooling, and they actually were doing really well when we had a pretty good group, and having, you know, with a with that group. But then we moved, and we found another group, and so I'm seeing that, um, they're opening up and whatever. So theirs is either nothing. I'm just gonna put my headphones on and ignore everybody in the world, or I'm going to find somebody that I can connect with, and then I'm going to info dump for 3 days.
Forever.
So we're working still on that, because, um, it's such a fine line to teach your kid. Like, you don't want them to hide who they are, but you also know that there's some portions that there's some social norms that they've got to understand and be able to do to survive out in the world. Kieran is almost 13, and his best friend is his 2-year-old cousin, but no matter what he does, the 2-year-old thinks he's amazing, and he can be silly. Well, so
Yeah.
honestly, Coda's best friend is a 7-year-old. So,
Oh my gosh! Yes, my best friend ever in the world is a 7-year-old.
Since 3.
Since he was 3 years old, we've been besties.
Now they have walkie-talkies to talk to each other from
He
next
said
door.
he gave me
Did he give you a
he
schedule?
gave me a walkie-talkie.
He
And
rang the bell, left a note with the
well,
walkie-talkie, and
because
ran.
I was at like every time like he comes over, hugs me, we talk, whatever. And then one day I went over to his car because he called me over, so I went over and we're talking.
He doesn't drive.
Um, yeah, no, he was in the car. His
I'm
parents were
surprised he
there.
doesn't drive. He's very gifted, but
So and he was like, here's a walkie-talkie, like we can talk, and we were playing with the walkie-talkie, and then I gave it back to his parents because I'm like, I don't want to keep this, it's not mine. And then the next day he came to my house, rang my doorbell, and left it on my porch with like a note that was like, to Coda from child. And I was like, wow. So then we talked, and he's like, I'm gonna make you a schedule of times we can walkie-talkie, because I told him, I'm like, I don't want to leave it on all the time, so like we need times that we can chat. And he's like, okay, I'll send you an email or write you a letter with times. And I talked to him the other day, and he's like, I'm still working on that. And I said, okay. So it's
But
just
the other
in
thing
my room.
is that first of all, 2-year-olds, younger kids love people with ADHD because
They're
we're fun.
fun.
We're fun. We're loud. We're exciting. And I don't act my age. I'm 57.
And
57.
also,
I'm
I
57.
want to
So
talk about the play with kid toys without judgment, because I am at my grown age. I'm
um
21. I
like
okay, first off, mom has a bunch of toys. We just got these out from
we found these
storage,
in storage.
and they're so cute. I love collecting toys. I love dolls. I've loved dolls for my entire life. I love them so much. I still collect them. And I collect like other little toys and stuff. And for a while, I was like, anytime someone would come over, I'd like hide my dolls because I didn't want to get made fun of or whatever. But like, life is so much more freeing when you don't care. So now I have all my dolls like up on display, and like I'll take them down, I'll brush their hair, I'll do their hair. It's
See, I
like
don't get it. So you want
fun.
your it's like stop being a oh kids and the imagination or whatever, and then you get to a certain point, you get stop being a kid, act like an adult, act older or whatever, and like I don't think that you should have to. It doesn't matter what your age is to be playing with toys, to use your imagination. Like we kill it
Yeah,
out of
like
kids and people because
I also never understood why in middle school everyone was like, we're
oh
gonna stop using our imagination. And I'm like,
yeah.
why? We're
And
children.
we no longer have recess. We don't have any kind
I
of
was so
playground. We
pissed
don't
off
have
about
anything.
that.
We're all going to go out into a field and just stand around and look at each other. And maybe we'll have a couple of jump
Like,
ropes.
dude, I love
You were
using my
crushed. You
imagination.
were crushed when you
I
found
was
out you didn't
so
have recess
pissed.
anymore.
And honestly, I'm so thankful I'm in college, because like my teacher is like, "All right, go take a break for like 30 minutes." And I'm like, "This is recess. I get to go outside and
And then all
walk
your friends,
around."
all your ADHD other college students are like, let's go get Mexican. Let's go, like,
We'll like
hang out.
there's an antique shop down the street with a dog, and we'll just walk down there and pet a dog. It's
Where's,
great. Um
didn't you
it's
tell me this when I
I
was.
don't remember the name of it, but we go there often and get my teacher little candles and plates and funny things, and we give them to him. But it's like awesome because it's like I'm friends with the neurodivergent group of people, and also I'm in an art profession, so
Right.
most people
But that was the
are.
thing when Coda was around that age and we were doing Girl Scouts and everybody was like, "What do you want for Christmas?" And they're like, "A phone." And what? And Coda's just like,
I want this
Coda's
doll.
like, "I would like this doll and this
And this
plushie
Lego set
and
and this. And honestly, it's so much more fun, and I still use my imagination to this day as much as I can, and it makes life so much more fun.
People that don't have fun things like that are boring and they judge you because you're like these people are having way more much fun than I am and they're more
Like,
creative
so what if I
and
want to wear a tail and walk around and pretend to be a little creature? Awesome, it's fun. So what if I
do you know how
want to
many
carry a
inflatables I
little
have?
trinket? Right? Like, girl,
I
y'all just
have
don't understand and aren't fun. And
right.
so I
So
think
I say
I
tell
think
Kieran that
masking, Kieran, I'm 21 years old and I still play with
I'm
toys. It is
57 and
fun. It is fun and I get it.
I still dress up in inflatable costumes or onesies or whatever. So don't lose that. Don't let him lose that.
And like, I like to think that when people
He'll
are like people, neurodivergent people should mask, it's just because you're uncomfortable with the fact that we are enjoying our lives to their
not only
fullest
that, but also
authenticity.
people like like we were saying, people think that when you are honest and you're blunt and you tell things like they are, um, that's considered rude, and it's so contradictory, especially if you're neurodivergent. It's such a contradiction,
Ow.
and such a thing to have to learn and have to, as a parent, have to teach your kids that,
Sometimes people want you to lie to them.
and why you want me to be honest, I'm being honest, but now you're calling me rude. And teaching tone is really hard to teach. and
I don't know if
and
I'm ever gonna figure that
no,
out.
and it's very hard for someone with neurodivergency to understand people's tones. So Coda all the time, why are you yelling at me, why are you mad at me? I'm like, no, okay, sorry, that's, I'm trying to say this, and I'm getting excited, or I'm getting frustrated, or I'm getting whatever, and it's coming out, and it's very difficult to control your tone, especially if you don't always have a good control of it and don't always understand other people's tones.
And
So
it's
this,
like,
and circling back to the subject, this is why people with neurodivergency mask.
and there's ways to do stuff in a more socially acceptable way without necessarily masking. Like if I have people where I'm like with all my friends are neurodivergent. Like I don't think I can keep a friend who's neurotypical genuinely. But
They
I'll be
usually get
like
scared off.
okay, y'all know I don't have tone control. If I'm being too loud and you're getting overstimulated, tell me to bring it down.
Yeah.
And there's ways where I can be like, oh, and I'll just kind of level
Hi,
my
Zane.
voice, do a little mental reset, but I'm not masking. It's like, it's really difficult though to find that point. Like, because for the longest time, I was masking all the time around everyone and I just didn't stop. Um, and that's kind of like a school thing. It was like a protective thing going on, but like,
Yes.
it takes a lot of work to unmask. It takes as much work to mask as it does to learn how to unmask frequently,
Yes. So I'm
like
looking at the
when you're
notes.
stuck in masking for a long time, learning to unmask is so difficult. Or when you, like my friend, he constantly tells me, he's like, I feel like I was masking for my entire life, and then I met you and your family, and I unmasked, and now I don't know if I can ever go back. Like, I don't know if I can ever mask the same way again.
I guess.
And which is a real thing that happens. And but the thing is it's not that you can't get back there. It's that you're learning how to mask in a way that is more safe and is more healthy for you and is better. Like, masking is changing because your environment has changed. Like, now you don't mask the same way as you do. Like, I don't mask the same way I did when I was younger
No.
with around dad, because our relationship has improved. My environment, my home environment has improved. My school environment has improved. So my masking looks different and takes a different amount of energy. It's not that you can't mask. It's that your masking looks different now and you're not used to it because you were in that mindset for years, and now you're like, "Whoa, there's people out there that are like me and are okay with who I am when I'm not like this."
Kieran says he has one face, the resting. He has a resting bitch face, and he struggles with tones. He can be really happy but sound pissed off, or really pissed and sound unbothered. It's so
Yep.
hard to learn that whole tone thing, and
See, I'm lucky that I'm like really animated with like my tone, because like when I'm excited, I feel like it's very I get really loud, but like it's obvious that I'm
I
excited.
think I think Karen's probably a lot like um, Luna, because I every morning, like, I will see this. Hey, how's it going? Good. Are you okay? Is everything okay? Yeah. Are, like,
One
I
of the
can't
things
tell.
I do hate a lot
And
is
that's a
when
teen thing too, because they were not like that when they were younger.
I think one of the things that I do hate a lot, which I mean I feel like is kind of weird to say I hate, but like I have since I had depression, um, now whenever I'm like doing my like I don't know what to call it, but basically I'll come home from school and I'll like when I'm getting ready to go to bed or if I'm just sitting in my room, usually I kind of have this like think of Emmett from the Lego movie. He's just like the straight face that I kind of look like that like all the time when I don't have something going on or I'm like with people or whatever. So like when I'm by myself, I just am kind of blank slate and dad will come downstairs.
Shut off.
Dad will come downstairs and be like, "Are you okay? Like, are you okay?" And I'll just be like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Are you sure? You seem off." I'm like, "No, I'm just like there's nothing going on, but yet there's everything going on. Like I am so in my head that anything happening right now is like the least of my concerns." And so I always feel like I sound really pissed off whenever he's like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?"
He does. Yeah, he doesn't.
But
He
like
doesn't get that.
I'm just kind of like there's so much happening in my head. I'm like very animated in my head. There's things going on.
It's a whole movie.
But right now, you're just seeing me doing nothing.
Yeah, yeah. But I want to talk about, as we're going along, the consequences, because obviously it takes a lot of energy, so you get burnt out, you can get stressed out. If you
Burnout is
mask
so.
too much, burnout is so true
We
with
should
ADHD.
do a thing about the different kinds of burnout.
We will do that then.
Because I have. There's emotional burnout, there's like ADHD specific burnout, there's like so
There's
many
people who
kinds of
interrupt you
burnout.
while you're trying to finish the sentence.
Sorry!
Burnout.
I wanted to put that out in the world if
But
anyone
yes,
is interested in that.
we will do that. There we go. We have a subject for next month.
If people are into it.
So
if they
as
wanna
you
see
grow
something
older, I
else.
suffer a lot with the imposter syndrome. That you get the low self-esteem. You feel like you're inadequate, even if and you feel like you've always got to be doing more, because you don't feel like you're doing enough. Um, and so you'll see all of your wins as like little tiny things, and all of your mistakes are huge. Do you want to raise your hand?
When you're done, can I talk?
It can lead to perfectionism and a very distorted sense of self. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I experience this stuff very heavily, where it comes to like, you're not doing enough, you're never doing enough, and blah 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 blah. But that's also because a lot of stuff in my past has kind of made me that way. I don't think I would be that way if I
Are you
was.
blaming me?
No,
Oh, okay,
I'm
good.
blaming Dad. No, I'm
Oh,
just kidding. But like, no, but it's like people always would tell you that you're lazy, and I'm like, I'm
I grew up with that. Yeah.
trying so hard, and hearing people be like, "Well, when are you gonna stop trying and actually do it?" And I'm like,
Ooh, that try harder.
I'm like, dude. And so now I am a really bad workaholic when it comes to school and jobs, and to the point where my dad now won't let me get a job while I'm in school because I won't go outside or do anything besides
Mm.
those two things. Um,
Wait. Boop, 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 boop. Your lies really help me. It's Zane. Hi, Zane.
Hi, I'm glad they help you, Zane. They've helped me a lot too.
Yes. And Anne Marie, I get it. You gotta. It's it's like because asking them constantly if they're okay. It really does stress out, and it
Because
stresses
of
me out. So I don't know why I end up doing it to my
it's
kids as well.
and
But
see my
I think
problem
that's a
is
mom thing. Like you can sense
yeah.
because I can read this one. I cannot read that one, and so I can walk down and go hey, and then they look up and I'm like, oh shit, what's going on? But this one I'm like, what's going on? Are you okay? Yeah, I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired. Okay, well, is it more than just tired? So
Yeah.
so as a mom, you're trying to like constantly find the sweet, you know, spot
And
there
like
where
I
you're
have the biggest issue, and this is not really related to this, but like it kind of is. Like I ask people if they're okay a lot, but that's like a trauma response thing that's like not to do with that. And but a lot of that trauma has come from I'm easily walked over. Like I
yeah.
am easily like I like my therapist was like, you are the perfect target for people to emotionally abuse you because you just are too nice to people and you give them too many chances and you need to stop doing that.
Yes. But
Um
yes, as a mom, it's really hard because yes, it does. And I hate it too because when someone's, like, why don't you accept my answer, whatever. Um, and as a mom, you're like trying to figure out because you've got to make sure your kids aren't going off the deep end, like whatever. So that's something where I will talk to my youngest. So it sounds very similar to yours, where I will just be like, check. Hey, I'm just checking in. Want to see how you're doing, um, and trying to get them to, like, I just letting them know, hey, I'm here, and you can tell me anything. You can talk to me, um, because it's when you got a kid that kind of closes off, it's it's tough. You want to make sure they're okay, and if you can't read them very well,
and it's
it
really, I feel like it must be really difficult because you're used to me who doesn't shut up and tells you everything, and then when
then I have another one. I knock on the door, and they're like, "What? How's it? Good." So, yeah, that's kind of a struggle to, because this they have to be able to go out in the world and function and be, you know, and also feel okay and safe enough to be able to, um, come to us and talk to us
yeah.
and tell them if they aren't okay. And so, um, having those conversations so that you're not badgering all the time, but making sure that they aren't masking with you, that there's not something that's going on. Like, I tell my kids, you can tell me what's wrong, even if it's me, even if it's something that I've done. If I've, my youngest have said to me, when you say, when you tell me that, or when you talk to me like that, you make me feel like this. And I'm like, ooh, okay, sorry, pull it back. All right, I got to remember that. But it's tough if you've got one that, is not as an open book and tells you everything.
And I think, but I think the thing is I definitely had to work towards that. Like, I didn't just, like, I was very talkative, yes, but, like, without getting too much into, stuff with dad, like,
Yes, this is therapy.
yeah, I have always had to advocate for myself all the time. Like, I've had to be my own advocate. And the hardest part is that when you're a kid, nobody listens to you because you're a kid.
Yeah.
So if I'm like, hey, this is wrong, like you're treating me not nice and you're making me upset, and this is something I'm supposed to be getting that would make me stop acting like this, but you're just not giving it to me. And then to have that ignored, you either close off or you get more stubborn, or you do both where you close off and then you realize that no one's going to listen to you unless you meet them with the same stuff, and you got to kind of start turning one-sided arguments into like, I'm going to yell over you because you're yelling at me.
Yeah. So it's a lot, like, I think, as far as like your kid saying he has one face or whatever, those are the conversations you have, like, okay, well, as I think you said 13, that's a tough age to begin with. And finding the people that are going to be okay, that's who you are and how you present yourself, um, and finding out that's how he sees himself. So how do we talk about that, and um, how do we as a parent understand that, and how do we help them, so if it is a thing that's bothering them, how do we help them? think as he's getting older, it's becoming more obvious that he's autistic and he struggles with simple things, but wants to fit in. It's a whole new ball game now. Hormones. Oh,
So
hormones.
I just
Yes.
want all of the kids, if any of you are, I know Zane listens to these, and I'm not sure if Anne's kids listen or anything. I have gone through so many friendships in just the 21 years I've been alive. And it and I genuinely now have people that are like just get me. Like they understand how to navigate. If I'm doing this, it's because I'm overstimulated. If I'm doing this, it's because I need this. And they just understand and they adapt to me and I adapt to them, and we click and we communicate and we talk to each other, and they understand that I have a hard time communicating with people, and that if I'm my tone is weird, ask me if this is how I'm meaning my tone to be. If I'm upset or whatever, you'll
Yeah.
find the right people who will click with you.
Mm-hmm.
And if someone can't handle you because of something that is your neurodivergence, then they aren't a person that you want to have in your life, because you're gonna just mask around them all the time because you don't feel comfortable. You want someone who you can be your true, authentic self with, and they exist. Those people are real people that are in the world. It just might take some time to find them.
Yeah. Sometimes you find them early on. Sometimes, I mean, middle school is tough. Um, High school, it a little bit better, but
And like, I have a
you're
friend
gonna
who
go
I
through a
don't
bunch.
talk to often, but we talk and it's like we're still friends. Like, I just recently talked to them, like, the most I've talked to them in like years, I think. So it's like the good people who like truly get you and truly understand will genuinely like stay around. Like, I had a friend who we were friends for a bit and then we stopped being friends and we were actually mad at each other. But now we're like best friends and I see them like all the time, and I just went on a trip with them. Like, it's awesome. It's great.
Yeah.
Like, people are always gonna be there. It's just gonna take some time, and especially when you're in middle school and high school, it stinks because everyone's in that age where they're like, I want to be cool and I want to
Yeah.
be
There's
clicky.
too much outside
You
influence
just
and stuff.
gotta be like, if you're yourself and if you're happy and you are a kind person,
You will attract the people that
you're
will
gonna
be.
attract the people you want, and that is the coolest thing you can do, is to just be your authentic self.
Yeah, and it's hard, especially
He
as
doesn't
a
have any
teen or
friends
whatever.
from a parent point of view. It makes me sad. He's a great kiddo.
Okay, first of all, parent point of view, we have too many issues that we put onto our kids. Like my
But also,
youngest only has a few, and that's okay because if they're good quality friends that understand them and are there for them, it
I,
doesn't matter if you
I,
have one, two, whatever.
yeah, I have friends. Like, I feel like I have, like, a lot of friends from a specific point of view, but really, I don't consider my friends, I only consider myself to have four main, like, best friends. And then outside, I have, like, people who I'm like, we're in a group together, but I don't really talk to you one on one. And we kind of like, I invite you to my birthday parties and we chat and stuff like that. But we're not like best friends, but I consider us close friends. And then I have my school friends who are completely detached from anybody, and I don't really hang out with them outside of doing schoolwork or like stuff like
Yeah,
that.
it's kind of like having school friends, work
Yeah,
friends.
like I kind of, but like I have these four, or technically three, I guess, core people that I talk to on a daily basis, that I'm like really close with, that I hang out with the most. But the thing is it's really quality over quantity. Like, you want the good people and you don't need more unless like, but if they keep coming your way and they're really good people, great.
Yeah,
But I feel like I feel like I'm more of a quality over quantity kind of person now. I don't want a lot of friends. I just want really good ones.
Yeah. And so
He has two friends
and
that he's
says
on the
he has
phone
two
to.
friends that he's on the phone with too all day, every day, and they
Right?
play games online and they just act silly, but they never meet up. And that is a
And that's
completely
valid.
awesome,
That's how my
and
younger that's
that's
how
an
my
autistic
younger
thing too.
sibling is.
It is so much easier to let your mask down when when you're online and stuff. So my kid has a ton of really, really good friends that have deep, deep conversations. They've only met one of them. Like we met one of them. The other ones are in different places, and then they have some other people that they do meet one on one. But that is very difficult if you're autistic to have that connection
Sometimes online
in
is easier.
being in front of somebody. So I would not be, as
Sometimes
long
I
as you
find
know that they're
myself,
not
yeah,
40-year-old
and
men, but
sometimes I find
but yeah, like I've made sure that I've got to know the people and Coda knows them,
mhm.
and so I feel comfortable.
And
and
that's the nice thing is I didn't even
and it's also
ask.
the
They were like, "Do you want to meet my friends?" And I was like, "Of course."
and it's also
And then
kind of
I
the
kind
world
of
we're
was
living
like,
in
and
right
then I was
now.
kind of like to mom, I was like, "They're not old men that are gonna."
I'm like,
um,
can you have that person talk? Do they sound like
can
they're
you show me their face
yes,
at least
at
once?
least what? Yeah.
But like, um,
Well, girls,
girls are
girls are going to
so
be more
much
understanding. I'm
okay.
sorry. I'm sorry. So yeah,
Girls are
he's
so
going to
much
have friends.
cooler,
Yeah.
and my younger sibling always grew up being more friends with girls. They just get it better. There's also a little bit more drama sometimes, but they're more emotionally in tune than guys are. And when you're an autistic person and you're very sensitive a lot of the time, or you have a hard time with emotions, you want to be around emotional people because they
Who get that right?
understand.
So that's the thing. So I wouldn't be, I don't
My
know if
friends are
you're.
my husband friends. Yeah. A lot of my friends are my other friends' friends that I've like kind of been like, I like you. You're pretty cool.
I noticed as I got older that I don't need as many friends, and um, if I just have a few core people that I
And
can count on.
honestly, I'm 21 and I'm already like, man, it's so hard to just make plans with the three friends I have. Why would I want more?
Yeah,
Like, you're
yeah.
working all the time and I have school, like, and our schedules don't line up. So, like, why do I want to make more friends when I can't even see the three that I actually have right now?
Right. But I would say, Anne Marie, if he has two friends that he talks to all the time, he interacts, and he can be himself and act silly, then that's great. I mean, that's how they're bonding, and we also have to understand that they're growing up in a completely different world than we did. We didn't have all these things, so we got
Yeah.
shut outside, and we had to make friends, and we had to go find people. Um, and not to say that they won't ever meet up. They may eventually. Like my youngest wanted to meet this person, and we were going to be in the same state that they are from, so we made it a point to go and meet this person. um, so yeah, if they have somebody, whether it is in person or online, that they can be themselves with, then I'd say kudos to that, and that means that they feel comfortable with them. And if they are opening up to you about these friends and telling you about them, and that's an important part of their life, and they're sharing with you that information, then that's great too. That's way you can connect and make
See,
sure that they're doing.
as um Carolina, or I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, said in high school I only had boyfriends, no girls, and as a girl I feel protective. Until now it's really hard to keep good. And see, I tried to be friends with guys because I was like, I like your interests. Like, I like superheroes. I like doing stuff like that. But I also liked girly things. Like, it wasn't like entirely like that. But I was like, I want to play in the dirt. And a lot of the girls that I was friends with didn't want to play
Yeah.
in the dirt. Except for the two, like, ones that I had that did. But then I was like, boys are so they don't they're not they don't understand emotions very well. Like they do. There's some. I'm not saying all. But a lot of the times they didn't understand my emotional like like they just didn't get it the way that
Well, yeah.
I
I mean,
needed them to. So I was like, you know
there's a
what, this
lot, you know,
stinks.
there is a lot of girl drama and all that. But here's the thing I will tell you you know, there's so many women out there right now that are desperate for friends and good friends that they can talk to and hang out with and whatever. And we're all going through this epidemic kind of thing where everybody's like, I wish I had a best friend. I wish I had what. And um, so we're all like in the same boat, but nobody knows how to um,
Like, you know.
connect. So I don't know. Oh, it's 2 a.m. Well, thank you for
Oh,
checking in. Um,
yes. I will always be everyone's friend. If anyone wants a friend, I'm willing
well, thank you
to.
for tuning in,
Yes, thank
Anne
you,
Marie.
Anne. Thank you for participating. We've had so many people participating
It's so much
today,
more fun.
and it's so awesome.
Yes. But yes, um, it is difficult as you get older to make friends and to keep
Hmm.
friends and to
And like, but like now in college, my school friends are like majority boys, but then I have these like two moms that I'm like really close friends with, and that's the fun part about community college.
yes. So
Zane, I will be your friend all the time.
well, he's a cutie. We've known him since he was little. Now he's big, and he's getting big, big, big. Um, so yes. So I don't know if we we did we talk about masking. I think we did.
Emily said that we were helpful,
Okay.
and
Thank you.
we were kind of talking
Hey,
about
we were answering
the
questions, right?
people, and
Right?
that's what I like when these lives are like we start with we kind of have a topic, mostly because we don't know if we're gonna get engagement or not, and we wanna talk about these things. And I don't do I don't do research. All my research is from my brain
Life.
and my experience. So it is not scientific. It is just things I've lived through. Mom is the one who does like research on like statistics and
Yeah.
percentages and
So
gets the
hopefully we
notes.
did cover masking and we did answer, you know, we tried to answer some of the questions and stuff, but
You're
I guess
10 now. Crying. That's so
um
awesome.
but yeah,
I
you
don't
know,
even remember being 10, so.
masking is part of life. We're all going to do it in to some extent. Um we want to make sure that, you know, we know when we're masking, how to unmask, making sure that we can have healthier habits so that we don't burn ourselves out and have compassion for ourselves and for other people. And I'm getting text. And
And also, if anyone wants a topic that we haven't covered or talked about, or is like kind of specific, we can try and include it. Um,
yeah, we're open because we're just kind of recycling some things, and or if I
we're
see
redoing
something,
them.
yes, if I
We're
see some
kind
of
of
them,
doing them, but like better,
yeah, because in the
better.
beginning, a couple of years ago, we were just kind of like the quality wasn't good, and I don't think we did as well.
No, and I think now we've kind of found our groove, so it's kind of getting back in there. Thank you.
Okay.
My son just heard you, Coda, and he totally agreed with you and told me to participate in this training because, well, yes, it's
Yes.
great. And honestly, coming from a kid whose parents are like changed a lot, understanding and doing the best you can to understand your kid makes a huge difference, and you're both gonna benefit from it so much.
Thank you,
Like
because I never know how to explain it. Like I'm helping the parent, but my goal is so that you will help,
the way I
and your
am with
kid will.
the way I am with my mom wasn't always like we were always close, but now I'm like I know how to better be like here's what I need from you to better help me, and mom can be like, well, here's what I've learned and my kid's going through this and I know about this, so I can better talk about how we navigate that. Like how do we navigate meltdowns? How do we navigate your anxiety? How do we navigate focusing and getting through homework and stuff like that? And it just helps so much when you understand that my kid's doing this because of this. It's
and not
not,
just
and
because,
not just because they want to make my life difficult.
which is what
Their
I
life is already
thought.
difficult, and
Yes,
so is mine because I didn't understand it. And now my dad, like we had such
I think that's the biggest win.
that's the best example I have is my dad always was like, you're being rude because you're not responding to me, or or he'd yell all these instructions at me and it would be too much. But now if I don't answer him, he's like, okay, I'm gonna walk away because I know this makes me upset, but I know they're not doing it on purpose, so I'm not gonna take it out on them. And he'll walk away, and we'll kind of recuperate
Yeah,
and
he
talk about
posted
it.
one time about
And then also,
the changes he's
now
made.
when he's giving me a task, he doesn't just say, hey, can you do this? He's like, hey, I need you to do this one task, and then after, come find me because I have another thing I want you to do, kind of thing.
Yes, they're
So
trainable.
it works.
Husbands are trainable.
It's great. Um, so it's
Because we
like,
were on different pages and we did not see eye to eye at
mhm,
all.
but it helps so much. And like, I think, and even if you don't like come to many other lives, I think these lives are the best, one of the best things you can participate in, because we can like actively talk to you in
Hmm.
the moment, which is really fun. Um, and then I'm also here to give a kid perspective. I'm not technically a kid anymore, but I was, and more
Mm.
recently.
Yes, yes, Carolina. This so I just stopped trying with my husband, and I just started doing this all the stuff that I teach parents now. And
And okay, and a
when he
lot of,
started seeing
I
things
feel
start
like,
changing,
I also feel like a lot of the changes came from, I had a really big breakthrough with him about my mental health in general, and I feel like after that is when I started to notice him kind of.
well, yeah, because he came to me and he said, "My kids don't want to hang out with me, and they're pulling away, and I feel like I'm losing him." And I'm like, "Do you want me to tell you why?"
Yeah.
And I told him why, and then that's when he was like, "I'm going to either lose my kids, or I've got to do something differently so that I can keep
And
a
now
relationship with them."
we bond. Like, it's not as close as me and mom are because there's some things that he just doesn't get or can't help me with. But I definitely tell him more about what's going on in my life, and I notice the efforts he's made and the changes he's made, and our relationship has been a lot healthier and a lot better in the long run. And like, me and mom now have a great relationship because she was already like more patient with it, but then to
Really?
kind of learn it, she kind of knows how to navigate when she's getting not getting what she needs. And like, we kind of have a better dynamic overall.
I mean, I think it changes the whole family dynamic in general. And honestly, for husbands, they have to see to believe.
Hmm.
Okay? So I used to send articles and I used to do all this stuff and like, we need to, and just tell me the, just, you know? No, I can't put that. And so that's when I was just like, I'm just going to do this. And when when he started seeing things changing and the kids were changing and we weren't fighting as much and all this, that's when he was like, "Oh, okay, something's changing, something's different."
Especially
Um,
because
and
he's,
then he was open to listening to what I was like.
a lot of
Listen,
men don't understand. Like, I'm not gonna say they don't understand, but they process better when it's like a logical physical change than when it's like you're just an emotional thing being explained, because a lot of men unfortunately don't grow up getting the same emotional like intelligence treatment as like women do, where they're like, women know how to better communicate their emotions because they talk about them more, but men are so stigmatized with their mental health and stuff like that that it makes it a lot harder for them to talk about those things. So a lot of them have mental health problems that they're struggling with that they might not even know they have,
yeah,
because
it's
it's not like a thing that they're usually talked about.
okay. We went way over, but
Yeah, but people are
thank
talking.
you, and thank you everybody for
Hopefully that was helpful at
yes,
all and
and
made any sense.
yes, and check out my free masterclass. I go over a lot of the stuff that we've talked about and how I teach and all that stuff. So that's another avenue if you're looking for information to gain some insight or whatever. But otherwise, join us next month. And what was the thing that we said? Oh, we should talk about that.
We were going to talk about burnout.
Burnout. Not cars, but people. All right. Let's cut this down.
Yes.
So that we can let everybody go to bed and
And I
do
gotta-
whatever. And I need to.
I have to get ready for my field trip.
I need to just go sit and stare at a wall. So, thank you all for joining
Thank you all
us.
for participating. It was
I
awesome.
love you
and
guys.
fun.
We will see
love
you next month.
Roar.
Movavi. Movavi.